Hey everyone, it's Vi. I'm checking out Masquerader Z. This is a game I had tried before. It was actually over a year ago, so quite a while ago. And at that point in time, it was called, what was it? Masked Brave Z. So slightly different name, but I assume it's the same game. It looks like it has some of the same assets, but how much can happen in over a year? I have no idea how much has changed or anything. I only vaguely remember playing it before, but we're going to give this a playtest and see if we can give some useful feedback. I got the game page open here. It says this is an ongoing project to explore combat mechanics in a blend between Mega Man X and character action. Use Zoe's extensive toolset to deal with threats to her city as a legendary masquerader. Take on multiple forms of different gameplay systems to create your own experience. PS4 and Xbox controllers recommended. So I do have my Xbox controller. It's all hooked up. So we've got, what is that supposed to be, square? It's got like PlayStation style button icons for the different things. It has attack, dash, jump, special attack, but it's like square, circle, X, triangle. Obviously doesn't apply to the Xbox controller, but I think we'll figure out what button is what. L1 is henshin, R2 hold to power up attacks. It's interesting how you're using L1 and R2, but not like R1 and L2. So I kind of wonder why they're on different things. I don't know if the developer is planning to use the other buttons at some point. I'd wonder why you wouldn't just use like L1 and R1 or L2, R2, that kind of thing. Another thing is that I actually like, I've learned that a lot of people hold their controllers differently than I do, so I like to rest my index fingers on the triggers. On our triggers as opposed to the bumpers on the Xbox controller. So it's more natural for me to hit the triggers, whereas I have to reach a little bit to hit the bumpers, so something to keep in mind when doing these controller setups. For me, if you're not planning to use the other buttons for other things, I might suggest maybe even mapping something to both like L1 and L2, like R1 and R2, which would be the same as the bumpers and the triggers on the Xbox controller. Just the same on both. So it kind of gives players the option which one they prefer to use as keyboard controls. So yeah, let's jump into the game here and see what we can figure out. I've not seen anything past this screen. So we got play, PS4 quit, so I assume we can select Xbox. I'm guessing it just changes the icons or something it shows in the game. I'm wondering how loud the music is gonna get. I don't know if I need to turn this down. It kind of started out a little quieter. Turn it down a little bit. Actually pretty loud. Yeah. Alright, I turned it way down. Might be worth lowering that a little bit. Let's see what we can see though. Looks like the D-pad doesn't work. There's a block here. Kind of looks like this block is like, let me move myself in front of the microphone here. Looks like this block is in the foreground, but it I guess is in the background. Alright, the jump button doesn't actually work sometimes. I guess you have to hold it. Oh, it just doesn't work sometimes. So that's very strange. I don't know what the deal is with that. I noticed if you just tap it, sometimes it does like this little non-jump thing. So I don't know what's going on with that. I can't imagine this going well if I can't jump consistently when I press the button. So I don't know if that's gonna ruin the experience here completely. Some nice attacks. They seem to work when I press the button, so that's good. Looks like you can kind of float in the air a bit. Let's try the... Okay, so the right bumper does the attack as well. Alright, there's my henshin, I guess. I don't know what I am. Oh, I think I'm a shooting guy? I seem to vaguely remember something about this. Maybe I just saw some pictures of the dev working on it or something at some point. So I guess you just turn into a little shooting guy. Um, Alright, I can do wall jumps. What was the other thing? Something to hold one of the right things to charge your attack. Can't seem to get that to work so far, so I don't know what the deal is with that, but it's like there's a little something, I don't know what the heck that thing is doing. I don't know what I'm looking at when I'm looking at this guy. Oh, I just walked into him. I don't know, are you even a bad guy? Oh, okay. So, I don't know what the little flash is when you touch him. I don't know if that's just like him being alerted or him... I think that's when he's about to attack. I almost didn't get out of the way because, again, the jump doesn't work sometimes. So I like the fact that you can apparently touch the enemies without getting hurt, as long as they're not in an attack state. So that's kind of neat in my opinion. I tend to like that kind of thing. It feels like, yeah, the frame rate seems really jerky sometimes, which is a little weird. I mean, there's not much going on visually here. I'm not sure what the deal is with that. It might be... Wait, hold on just a moment here. Okay, I think it's because... Okay, so I just realized that the game is running in borderless window mode. Oh, okay. Well, we restarted the game. I got a little effect when I spawn in here. Oh, what the heck? Alright. I'm assuming this is a bug. Oh, that's cool. That looks very... I think someone was looking really closely at the Mega Man assets when they made that animation there, but it does look cool. So I think this is a bug. I think I'm in some kind of a charged state. Oh, the D-pad actually does something here. If I press up or down on the D-pad, I can go left or right. But yeah, as you can see, I just kind of quit the game and then restarted and just kind of spawned in this state, and now I can't jump at all for some reason. Oh, I can jump with the wrong button. I can jump with the B button. That's another controls. Maybe it's because does start work? Start doesn't work either. Start button doesn't work. The escape key doesn't seem to work. Alright, yeah, I can't get out of this. I was thinking maybe it switched to PS4 controls or something. I have to go ahead and Alt F4. I don't know what's going on, but it seemed to be in kind of a bug state as you could probably see. Find the game and run it again. Alright, so I think this defaults to PS4. I don't know that it remembers it. It might not have the last time. Let's go ahead and click on play again. So it looks like we're back. So yeah, because I noticed you were supposed to be able to like charge your attack up or whatever, so I was thinking maybe that was like somehow when I relaunched the game I was stuck in like a attack charge state type thing, but I can't seem to make that actually work with the buttons that were mentioned. That's a little weird. Yeah, so let's go ahead and see what else we can get up to. Oh, I was talking about the borderless window mode, so I always recommend, at least support a proper exclusive full screen mode. Alright, so I think you can't slide down the ice, except for some reason I can slide down the top of this one, but so yeah, the benefit of exclusive full screen mode, you get less input lag and more consistent frame rendering. So in this case, you might not even see it the same in the capture because there can be some differences in the capture and what I actually see on my screen. But you can just like randomly lose frames And it has nothing to do with how fast the game is rendering. It's just Windows, because you're in a borderless windowed mode instead of in the exclusive full screen. Is that a... Was that a Y button? Oh, it's a Y button. So maybe that's some kind of like a parry move or something? I didn't even press that button before now. Did I? Oh. I guess I was so preoccupied with the the weird jumping and stuff that I didn't try the other buttons yet. So I can spawn a thing. Just hangs out there, and I got the dash move. Oof. Oh, okay. Oh, I can pick him up again. It's annoying that I can't wall jump on this wall. So yeah, it's kind of weird to put the guy in like a pit with the walls like not allowing the player to jump up on the walls. I mean a pit with the enemies. So I feel like I can't predict when the button's gonna show up here. Yeah, it's super unpredictable. Like if I wait for it to show up, then I tend to press it too late. But then if I like try and predict it, it just doesn't show up most of the time. Like why is it? It's almost like it knows that I'm waiting, like I'm trying to predict it or not, and it just does the opposite. Yeah, see, every time I do this, it doesn't show up. But like if I'm not trying to do that, is it because I'm too close? Okay. Definitely pressing the Y button. Okay, so maybe I had to be closer. I'm not sure if... Okay, well I guess I kind of unlocked this enemy just spamming the Y button. So yeah, it's a little awkward getting that whatever kind of special counter move or whatever was going on. I like the idea of the context sensitivity and doing, you know, different moves like that. Can definitely be cool. But yeah, it was a little confusing, like how I was meant to pull that off. Also, just the simple fact that this button does something which seems to have nothing to do with that, which is launching out this guy. I don't know what this guy even does at this point, but the fact that the same button is used for something so completely different is a little confusing to me. Just kind of makes it seem a little inconsistent in a way. So this guy shoots some things. Jumping is pretty floaty. So I guess that move is kind of always the same, but if I do this move successfully, I kind of expect it to actually affect the enemy in some way. Like he doesn't seem to have any flinch or anything. Seems kind of annoying, like if an enemy is charging an attack and you like pull off this move on him, you kind of expect him to not be completely uninterrupted, like even if it's just slowing his attack down for a few moments or something, you kind of expect to have some kind of feedback on the fact that you hit him, and you know, being able to knock someone out of their animation or something is always something that feels right. But if they just completely ignore what you're doing and hit you anyways, then it like doesn't quite feel right in my opinion. So yeah, I don't know what causes the Y thing to show up exactly. Okay, so I do get the impression there's a diagonal. Maybe that's trying to tell me about like how I'm meant to use it, like I'm supposed to have them in a diagonal position from me, that kind of thing. I had no idea what that was. when I first saw it. Until now, I didn't have any idea what it was, so it'd be worth noting. There's a little bit of inertia on the movement. One of the things that... Okay, I can pause this. Actually, I think it's just the camera. I was going to say it seemed like the pause was kind of sluggish, but I guess it's just the camera catching up. One of the things I really like about the Mega Man games is the fact that there's no inertia on the movement, on the left and right specifically, so you can just... Like if you press left or right, you just... you move at maximum speed all the time. Very responsive, very accurate input, and you know, helps things feel fast. Whereas when you start adding inertia, then it's like when you change directions or when you try to go from stop to running, there's just this tiny little delays that are in there, just moments where you're just kind of moving slow and you have to speed up. It just kind of slows everything down a little bit. In my opinion, not as nice feeling. Kind of that combined with the jump being pretty slow, like the vertical speed, up and down, kind of makes the game feel, I think, a little slower than I would like. Now, it's not a straight up Mega Man clone or whatever. It doesn't have to be exactly like Mega Man, but you know, those are qualities that I appreciate about those games, and I think could benefit this one. So, no, I haven't really used. All right, so you can. I like how far you can dash, and I like the fact that you can terminate the dash prematurely. So rather than dashing at full length all the time, kind of go a little closer. I guess you can go through enemies as long as they're not attacking, like I figured out before. So that should be kind of interesting. So I guess they have a little flash. Alright, this guy's gonna... His AI seems to be not working optimally there, but that guy doesn't mess around, he just keeps shooting. Alright, so you can't attack and then press the Y thing, so that's good to know. I kind of wish you could. It seems like it would make the game play a lot faster. I wonder, oh, you also can't dash immediately after attacking. You have to wait for your animation to finish, so again, it makes the game feel slower, which, you know, would be more forgivable in my opinion if there weren't enemies like, particularly like that guy that keeps shooting at you. His kind of his cycle of how rapidly he attacks is pretty fast. So like, I need to be able to move and dodge his stuff constantly, and if I'm trying to throw an attack or two in there, and then I have to wait for so long before I can do another action like dashing out of the way, something like that, then it's going to make it really hard for me to like be able to avoid those attacks while also attacking myself. So you can, you know, shorten those times between the player's actions, or even, you know, eliminate them in some cases. Like maybe I can attack and then like hit the Y, or attack and then dash quickly. I actually, now that I think about it, can't dash in the air, can I? I wish I could. So again, with like that enemy, where I have to jump up and attack him like that, I can't use my mobility. Not only do I have to wait for the animation to finish, but I have to wait until my feet hit the ground, so. Oh, that was interesting. So sometimes if I'm approaching the enemy and I hit Y from on the ground, he kind of goes up in the air, and then we'll do like a downward thing afterwards. But I don't know when. Okay, I don't know when that happens either. So I'm a little confused about the Y button things. One thing I want to point out real quick, that this animation where he swings the sword around, it looks like an attack. Like it looks like you could smack the sword with something like this, but it seems to not be the case. I think that's a little misleading. Like the visual communication there is probably not entirely clear. Oh. just not. Alright, I keep pressing jump, but again, it just doesn't work sometimes, so. Alright. So, like. Jump, please. Okay, so I think anytime you are at all below the object, it'll go upwards, and then vice versa. If you're above it, you'll go downwards diagonally. But it's pretty easy. Like if I want to drop down and go diagonally upwards, going in the left direction, it seems like it's pretty easy to accidentally go down. You just press it slightly too early. And that might be because of something to do with the delay. Like after you press the button, there's like a brief moment where it kind of goes into the animation and then shoots in the diagonal. Like it doesn't instantly shoot diagonally. So I wonder if my brain is trying to compensate that way, because I know there's a slight delay. So I press it a little too early. Might be the case. It's a cool concept though. I like the idea of this kind of mobility stuff where you just kind of, you know, especially when it's kind of like attached to the level or something, it just kind of feels cool to zip around on different things like that. Alright, so again, I think I can't bounce on, wall slide or wall jump on that. I guess I can hit the things with my sword, the projectiles. Oh, that's useful. Alright, kind of spamming the... Oh! Alright, that guy just spawned without warning, I guess. Alright, that time my jump just didn't work. So it's interesting that you can do the Y thing even when you're in a position where it just doesn't hit the enemy at all. That's kind of weird. So I kind of expect, you know, because it's context sensitive, and especially like if the button is actually showing up on the guy, if I press the button, I kind of expect it to work, but I apparently have to account for the fact that it doesn't necessarily work if I don't, what is this? Is that like a checkpoint or something? But yeah, it doesn't always work if I'm not positioned quite correctly there. So what I haven't done is I haven't used... Still don't know what that does actually. I haven't used the this guy. Oh my gosh. I think there's some text on the screen. I didn't read what it said. Wait, so he has a dash move, but it kind of slows? It's kind of weird. It goes super fast and then slows. Then you're kind of stuck for a moment. Alright, so also if you're like in an attack animation, you hit the Y button, even though it's like flashing on the screen, it doesn't work, because again you have to wait for that to stop before you can put in that kind of input. So it's kind of annoying. Like I feel like I want to do these actions a lot faster, but I have to wait. Okay, so I guess I died. Wasn't really watching my health or anything like that, but would have been nice to have like a few more moments there after I died to kind of, you know, not be instantly teleported back into a living state. It's kind of jarring. You can kind of assess what happened. So that time I couldn't get the Y to work, even though I thought I was positioned right in the air there. So what's a little awkward to me is the idea of switching back and forth between these two guys. guess I could get used to that. Again, I'd prefer it on the trigger rather than the bumper. But that's my personal preference. It's not necessarily what others would prefer. So that was weird. Like I transformed it into the shooty guy, and then I tried to spam the shot, but it like transformed itself back into this guy for some reason. I don't know why. I can like stand on her or something? I don't know what was going on there for a moment. Okay. Oh, that thing flew back into me. That was weird. That was weird. I don't know why I went that way when I jumped. I was not holding that direction or anything. Itch my nose here. Oh, we've got skills on the menu here. I wonder what that does. Nothing? Can I select that? Ah. Okay, looks like the topmost one is kind of covered up by the HUD here. That's okay. I think it's a down in triangle. Then R2 in square. So again, it's even though I apparently put it on Xbox mode, it's giving me the PlayStation buttons in this menu. That's slightly annoying. Brave kick, brave burst, brave strike. So which one's? I think triangle is the topmost one, which should be Y, and square is the leftmost one. R2. That's the one that doesn't work, right? Or does it only? I'm trying to get these things to work. Yeah, I don't think that works for some reason. See, I was trying to dash too soon. Again, I have to wait for the animation to finish. It's super annoying when you press and it just doesn't do anything, and then you have to like wonder why it wasn't working and then press it again, that kind of thing. Oh, that's a big punch. Oops. My jump didn't work there. Oh, I tried to... Okay, yeah, so it's a little buggy for some reason. I think you could see there for a moment, I transformed into this guy, and then I tried to attack, and it just did the, it did this guy's attacks. And then, like, turned back into this guy. Even though I didn't press I only pressed the button once to transform, but... So it seems like if you press the button too fast, this doesn't shoot very fast. So that's another thing I've noticed, that the game will actually eat a lot of input. So not only do you have to like kind of wait for the right times before you do the next action, but also like if you do press a button slightly too early, it just eats it. So what I mean is that it does that as opposed to buffering the input. So if you could buffer the inputs, you know, for a short while, so it would be a little less likely to just eat the input, you know, just be a nice quality of life sort of thing. And that would change, for instance, the fact that if you mash too fast with this, it doesn't shoot slower. So it's kind of counterintuitive. Oops. She just appeared and started attacking right away. The hitboxes are a little unforgiving. Like sometimes it looks like the furthest pixels of the sword are kind of touching her and it's still not actually hitting her. which I don't think should happen in my opinion. Okay, so you can do the little diagonal dash thing and still get hit by the attack, so it's not like giving you any invulnerability or anything. My jump isn't working most of the time. I'm just gonna super die because my health is already so low. Alright, let's try this time. See if we can win. See, I keep wanting to do actions too fast. Uh-oh. Did that just take half my health? I think that just took over half. Oh my gosh, these attacks are so powerful. Holy crap. Ah shoot, see I couldn't throw the next attack out fast enough after I threw that one. So yeah, this person can apparently kill you in like 2 hits. It was pretty painful. I mean, for the most part, they're pretty avoidable attacks and everything, but just from some of the wonkiness and the timings and stuff of the player movement, it's pretty easy to just, you know, accidentally, because you try to do the inputs a little too fast or something else, just get whacked by something and then you just like, you're just dead. That was weird. So in that case, if the boss character or whatever is going to throw out one of these blue things that makes you stick in place, it might make sense to give it like like 200 milliseconds or something, where it after the boss character throws it, so that it doesn't like instantly trap you if you're like standing right on top of the character. Oh my gosh. She already turned around, so thankfully my attack stunned this character. I don't think any of those 3 attacks just hit her for some reason. That doesn't look good. Oh gosh. Alright. Oh gosh. Oh, she got back, but now I'm stuck in the ground. Wait, maybe I can do the Y button. No, because I'm not in the air, I guess. Oh boy. So I might have... Okay. So I fell down. I don't think there's like a kill plane or anything down here. So this is probably soft locked. That's too bad. Yeah, and going back to the menu just restarts the whole game, unfortunately. So I guess we're back here. That's too bad. I kind of wanted to beat that boss, and like I know I could have. It was just like I said, just the fact that the boss can basically kill you in 2 or 3 hits, and little things here and there. Hard to consistently avoid damage. It's kind of fun how you can kind of slide across the ground with that diagonal attack, though. So yeah, the good news is now that I kind of know how the game plays and don't have to necessarily talk about everything all the time, I can get through these parts a lot faster. That's pretty hard to avoid consistently. And he has a lot of hit points, so it takes a long time to kill him. And yeah, again, like I want him to get stunned. Oh my gosh, I can't jump. No. Yeah, the hitboxes on those projectiles might be a little big also. It's annoying if it just like barely brushes up against you and you still take a full blunt of it. So I think if I go left, there's more enemies, but like I don't think there's like a reason for me to fight them. I don't remember there being anything. Alright, you can knock those back. See, I forgot about that. So yeah, sometimes he gets knocked around, I guess. But it seems... I don't know if it's after they take a certain threshold of damage or something, they can get stunned for a moment. It just feels inconsistent. Like, I can understand that on like on paper that kind of makes sense, but... Alright, there's a couple times it looks like I'm both getting hit by and deflecting the bullets at the same time. And there's a little bit of a delay between when you press the button and the sword actually comes out here, so that's slightly annoying. Alright. It's unexpected. That's kind of weird. I wonder how... Come on, buttons. No! This kind of works as a nice dodge move too, I'm just now realizing. Rather than always using the dash, I could kind of use that and that helps. So yeah. Alright, so that was the end of it. I think the boss at the end is kind of cool, it feels kind of cool. I think it could, you know, be polished up a bit more for sure, but I like the concept of it, the attacks look cool for sure. So yeah, I see like... I think all of the mechanics you have in the game are really cool, conceptually, and you know, the idea of it is cool, and for the most part they feel cool. Seems like like the kind of game I'd really get into, but the polish is lacking for sure. So definitely used a lot of nips and tucks here and there, most everything, I would say, but you know, if you could get those things really tightened up, I think this would be a blast. And I'm hoping that you'll find the video useful. So if you have any questions for me, definitely let me know, and I'll see you in the next video.